Good afternoon and welcome to all present in the session. I don't have any, we don't have a presentation as such because most of the numbers are available in the MSM website, and I'm sure all of you have gone through it and then have your number crunching done. Having said that, I'll just give an overview of the financial performance for the 9-month ended 30th September. The revenue stood at around 16.2 million Real Omani as compared to about 21.28 million for the same period last year, representing a drop of 24%. I will just briefly go through the reasons for the drop, maybe a little later. And then the operational profit also dipped from 4.67 million to about 1.15 million. And however, it was adequately compensated by our investment income and also the fair value changes, which was a positive of 2.207 million during the period, and thus giving us a profit before tax of about 4.646 million as against 2.46 million of the previous year. And the profit after tax also grew by almost 150% from 1.571 million to about 3.944 million. But here I would like to highlight that in the previous year, we had to take a fair value hit of about 3.2 million. So that's why it had gone down so low. So which we have recovered substantially during this year. And then coming to the receivables has been a little stretched during this period. It has gone up by about 15% as compared to where we were. And then the EPS stands at a very strong 18 paisa per share, as against 7 paisa last year for the same period. And the book value also is quite strong at 155 paisa per share, as against 139 for the same period last year. And even last year, we ended with about 145 paisa. So this is what just a brief of what of the on the financial performance. And coming to the reasons for the drop in on the revenue side. Basically, we are operating on a very difficult, challenging period now at this moment where there is an overall dip in the demand of ceramic tiles in the entire region. In the regional market, there is an overall dip in the demand, and also aided by huge capacity expansions in KSA, especially has led to tile exports from KSA. This is the first time, I mean, we are looking at export of tiles from KSA, that is Saudi Arabia, and which is also impacting the prices in few of our other markets like Jordan and Yemen and other things. That is also one reason. And also very low ocean freight from India has also further decreased the landing price of the tiles imported from India to here, which also again was
taking the online session.
We had also we have to highlight that UAE had also discontinued the they dropped the anti-dumping duty, which was in force for some time. So that also pulled down our volumes and our realizations. So these are the main reasons for why our revenue dropped. But having said that, we are also looking at a little more other markets. We are consolidating a few other markets like Yemen and Jordan, and then we are also making foray into some African markets. We have been successful in the last quarter. And this quarter, we assume that it should be better than what we did in the last quarter. So with this brief, I will now leave it to the room to have any queries or any questions you have on this. Yeah, Joyce.
Hi, good afternoon, Suresh.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you for the brief intro. My question is, now you have been mentioning about the Saudi market for,
Yeah.
since last year. So what's the development there? And, I remember you mentioned earlier that there are some dealers are getting some of the refunds, the tax refunds and everything. So
Yeah.
if you can give us some overview of what's happening in Saudi market and how the market also is behaving, because what we see from the Saudi is not a very
That's
rosy
right.
rosy picture right now. So, if you can give us an outlook of the market
Okay.
and of also on the excise duty front, that would be very
Okay.
helpful.
Okay, fine. Coming to the market first, as I said, there has been an overall dip in the regional market, and especially in KSA, the dip has been more prominent. In fact, the demand in KSA has considerably dropped due to various reasons. One is that there has been a lot of reconstruction that is happening, which means the complete, part of the cities of Riyadh, Jeddah, and all has been completely demolished, and then they are coming out with new construction. So, which will take some more time for our product. It is almost at the end of the projects, so it will take some more time for the demand to pick up when the reconstruction starts there. And the other major reason which we got to know is that the uh, people are not investing into any more into the construction activity, as the interest rates, the banking interest rates are pretty steep. So they are just waiting for it to cool down a bit before they want to invest into more property, as the returns on this is as of date, it appears to be low for them. And coming to your question on customs duty. Yes, there has been little movement in the customs duty front, where after providing all the documents, everything, there have been some what do you call positive vibes that we have found, and our dealers have found that they have got the refunds and things like that. But it is still not stable. I mean, we have also taken up it with the ministerial level here, and in fact, the Ministry of Commerce had a meeting with the Ministry of Saudi, and then they said they are looking at resolving this as quickly as possible. So we hope that if something comes out, then we will be able to at least move ahead better than what we are doing now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
On the operational side, can you give us some some color on what's the utilization level right now or during the 9 months? And we have passed almost 2 months in the final quarter. So what's the utilization level right now, and how is the business doing on the operational side?
Okay. See, on the operational front, I mean, we have been, what do you call, it was a subdued period only. In fact, we would have allowed to operate at full capacity, but unfortunately, we couldn't do that. In the first 9 months, still we operated in excess of 85%, as I can comfortably say that. And in the last 2 months, it has come down a bit, further down a bit. So we are expecting that it should start picking up by December, and then in the first quarter of 2024, we expect that it should be almost, if not full capacity, at last we will go back to the 85% plus capacity utilizations.
Okay, thank you. And one of the mitigating efforts that is done by the company for softening the impact of Saudi slowdown is that you mentioned that you are going into Yemen and Jordan and all these markets. So
Right.
can you give us can you quantify what's the kind of volumes or what's the kind of revenue that we are generating from these new markets? Earlier, I understand these were very negligible proportions, and GCC was the major market. Right now, how much of the revenue is being contributed, and what's your view on what's your target and in capturing these markets?
Yeah. See, Yemen and Jordan put together has been, we have grown considerably well here. I would say we have, I can confidently say that we have doubled our numbers there, though the numbers were not very large, but still we have doubled, and then we are going further consolidating in these markets. But again, there has been some small hiccups now in the Jordan market due to the ongoing war or the conflict in the region there. So because of which it is going a little slow, but that is a very, very a big potential market for us, and then we are confident that we can further push it up. We are also made inroads into some African markets. The first deliveries have started going to those markets also. So the having said all these things, but still these markets are all cannot compensate the Saudi market. Saudi market is much bigger. Okay, so there will be still, even with all these things, we can, maximum go back to our pre-expansion levels at best, or maybe a little more than that. But we may not be able to, what do you call, entirely depend on these markets, or unless Saudi is going to give us some more impetus there.
Okay, fine, thank you. And another question that I have is on the investment fair value losses on the recovery.
Yeah.
Almost 70% of what we have provided during last year has been recovered. So how much more do you think would be possible to recover in the current market scenario? I see the prices has gone up significantly, and even from the September levels, the prices has gone up. So how much do you think that will it be the entire 3.1 million would be recoverable in the, assuming that we are the prices stay here? And also, can you remind me the maturity profile of these notes? Any of these notes? What's the quantum that is going beyond 2023? And what's the outstanding amount? What will be the outstanding amount for these notes which are outstanding after 2023?
Oh, okay, fine. First, coming to the first part of your question, you are asking me whether there can be a full recovery. The full recovery is not possible. Okay, already there has been, because we are already at the end of the year, and then I'm confident that we will not be able to recover fully. And also on the maturity side, the entire thing will completely be maturing somewhere around February of 2024. Okay, and then out of that, more than half of it would be maturing within this year, where already, if you see, out of the 2.207 million, which we have said as the fair value changes, there has been a considerable actual realization itself. It's a realized number there. A substantial portion of it. Only a small portion of it is unrealized portion. So to that extent, the balance sheet should be, more stronger at the year end.
Got it. And another thing that I've noticed you have mentioned as well, on the DSO. So we are up from almost 4 months to more than 6 months right now. So what's the trend that you're seeing there? Is it because of a lack of demand we are pushing the product, or is it because of some other reasons that is inherent in the market?
You mean to the stock increase, or can you just repeat your question?
I'm talking about the receivable days.
Receivable days, yeah. Receivable days, we have been very cautious in terms of extending credit. We are not extending credit to everyone, which we used to do earlier. So very cautiously we have been extending credits, and then ensuring that we know whom we are extending it, though it is a little stretched out a bit now. And if we were to extend it to everybody, we could have even increased our revenue. So we have been cautious we have taken a hit on the revenue, keeping in mind the receivables to be under control. So to that extent, the lower revenue is one of the reasons for the lower revenue is that we have not extended credit to everybody, and also the overall demand also, as I explained to you earlier.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Okay. I think we have one more hands up. I think Mr. Daniel.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Daniel. How are you?
I'm good as well, thank you. I have a couple of questions. The first one pertains to, again, I've been reading your commentary in the results. You say that there might be some possibility of exemptions given to you in the Saudi market once you fulfill the conditions. So can you just highlight what are those conditions, and if there is any update, like in the percentage means, like if there is 40% progress or 60% progress towards those goals. That's the first thing. The second thing is that there are news that more Chinese factories are setting up most Chinese companies are setting up their factories in Saudi and other regions as well. So what's the competitive landscape over there? And thirdly, I heard that there are also some rebates that you are getting from some markets. So if you can shed some light on that as well. So these three questions. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Coming to your first question about fulfilling the requirements for the duty exemption in Saudi Arabia, we have completely complied with that. We have 100% complied with that. And as I mentioned to you earlier, some of our customers, some of our dealers have already started getting the refunds. So to that extent, it is behind us. But the issue is not that. The issue is that, even after complying with all the requirements, still there are bits of loose ends which needs to be tied up at the ministry level to ensure that there is a seamless flow of our materials into Saudi Arabia. So still there are some hiccups in that, which is to be addressed at the ministry level, which we have taken it up, and then hopefully we are expecting it to be resolved in due course of time or as early as possible. And coming to your second question on the Chinese, companies coming up, yes, that is a challenge. That is exactly what I was highlighting earlier also, that there have been huge capacity expansion in KSA, which is even beyond their local demand, current demand. That is why they are getting into exporting it out of KSA. KSA has never been an exporter of tiles in the past. Now with these companies coming in and then having huge capacities, they have started exporting it to the countries in the region, which is impacting the pricing for all the other manufacturers in some key markets like Yemen, Jordan, and maybe in Libya and things like that. So that is a challenge which we have to face as a company, and I'm sure we will see how to strategize on that and then take it up. And on the third question, on the third part of your question on the rebates in other countries, I'm not sure, I mean, what you are referring to, because we don't have any rebates as such in any other countries as such. So if you can just detail your question a little more, I'll be able to answer that.
Anyway, so that was just some rumors going around. So I just asked to confirm. So if there's nothing, that's fine. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great of you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Bishan. I think you have raised your hand now.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Bishan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Suresh. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the call. Just a few queries.
Yeah.
Joyce raised the question on the investment book, and you mentioned that there are some maturities this year and some next year in Q1 or in H1.
That's right.
And you
Yeah.
mentioned that some amount is not recoverable.
Yeah.
What portion of that investment book is let's say not recoverable? If you give us some ballpark number.
I would say substantial portion will be recoverable. I mean, I don't think so I'll be able to put a number to it because still it is not matured, and as on the maturity date, as of today, I mean, whatever is pending to be matured, we should be able to get it in full. But then I will not be able to put a number to it till we actually realize it. But a substantial portion of it will be realized is what I can disclose at this point of time.
All right. The reason I was asking is because we had a 3.3 million real impact in Q3 of last year.
Yeah.
And so far, net we've recovered 2.2 million. So there's another million, like Joyce mentioned. So just wanted some clarity.
Yeah.
But okay, we can take that up in future quarters. Now you mentioned the operational performance. You mentioned the challenges. You mentioned you're currently trying to operate at around 85% utilization levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And without Saudi going back to its original volume, it will be very difficult for you to maximize on the post-expansion capacity.
That's right.
One of the strategies that Anwar has also deployed, keeping in mind the credit quality, is to to keep a high utilization level, which would ultimately benefit the company once the market turns.
That's right.
Now, that has impacted realization prices. We understand that. Now,
Yeah.
if the competition were to continue at the current pace,
Yeah.
what sort of further drop in utilization do you expect, or what sort of drop in realization rather do you expect if you still have to keep up with your utilization run rate? Because there would be some sort of break even or some sort of basic utilization level you would have in mind.
Yeah. No, I think very valid question, Bishan. See, that is why we are also moving a little more dynamically on our strategy too. So even if this is going to continue, we are now putting in place a strategy where we can still continue to maintain our capacity utilizations to at least a level of 85% plus, and then see how we can not tweak around on the realizations and then still be in a profitable mode. I can't detail a little, more elaborately in open forum on our strategy, but we are very clear how to move ahead and then how to ensure that we don't because capacity utilization is key for our maintaining our cost competitiveness. So there we cannot compromise on our capacity utilization, and then as we go along, probably in the next couple of quarters, it will throw out how we have been handling the current situation.
So you think the company maintaining its utilization levels at this rate within a reasonable realization price range?
That's
you don't
right.
see that either one dropping further.
That's right. That's why we are looking at a little more additional markets also. We have been exploring a few other markets, and then which are all quite promising, and we are confident that we will crack all those things.
Understood. Now you mentioned that Yemen and Jordan were two markets where you sort of doubled your volumes, which is still not meaningful, but it's still a progress. And now there are again, we hear of talks of probably some stabilization in the region going forward, compared to at least the last month.
Yeah.
We expect things to get better going forward. Once that happens, what uptake in sort of exports to these markets do you sort of foresee?
Yeah,
will it still be a very incremental?
No, we are looking at substantial increases in these markets. But as I said earlier, these substantial increases, though it appear to be substantial increases for us as compared to what we were doing earlier, may not be fully adequate to load our full capacity of 100%. Okay, because unless we are able to get into Saudi, because Saudi is the big challenge that we have, which we need to crack, and then we need to move ahead in that market. But unfortunately, even in Saudi, there has been clearly a dip in the demand there for the reasons I mentioned earlier. So we will have to wait and see for the market to pick up there, and then in the meantime, we also have all the resolutions on the other duty front and other fronts, and then we can see how we can move ahead with full utilizations.
Understood. Next question is in regards to Saudi and your comments on sort of some initiation in the refund, but it's still a neutral development for the company because it's like you said, it's not stable. The company is fully engaged with the required authorities to make sure there's a swift resolution. You've submitted all your paperwork, but it's still not a smooth flowing process as it was before.
That's right.
And that's something that is in addition to a drop in demand, that is also affecting your volumes to Saudi.
Very much. That you are absolutely right. Yes.
Okay, so in context of this, let's say if this resolution over the next, let's say 6 months, or let's say over the next couple of quarters is resolved, where now you do not have to pay this 15% duty, but there's now an organic drop in demand in Saudi. What percentage of the exports that you were making in a regular scenario, what levels do you see that going back? So let's say if there were 20% of your overall capacity was going to Saudi, if this duty issue were to be resolved completely, so out of that 20%, would you be at 15%, at 18%, at 10%? If you give us some idea, because there's an organic drop also.
That's right.
Pie is also now.
That's right. Well, no, I got your question. So for sure, we will not be able to go back to the entire share of the business which we were enjoying there earlier. There will be certainly a drop, okay, because of the organic drop, which like what you mentioned. But that we need to see as to how the reconstruction process is going to begin there. The faster it begins and then the movement is faster, then we can see that we can even try to go back to our old levels. Whereas our premise was that we will not only go back to our old levels, our premise was that we will be increasing our share there with our expanded capacities when we put up the expansion plans. So that is going to be a little, there will be still a shortfall, which we have to depend on other markets to fill it up. But if the reconstruction activity goes up, at least we can go back to our original levels, what we were doing, or maybe a little 10-20% less than what we were doing earlier there.
And that reconstruction activity typically in your industry would be a 12 to 18-month lag. So if it starts today, over the next 8 to 10 quarters, you would see your 6 to 8 quarters.
That's right. But then again, when I said reconstruction in full swing, it has to start. But there has been some starting already happened there, because the demolition started about 6 to 8 months or almost 10 months back. So there has been an activity of reconstruction starting. So we will have to wait and see how quickly they are going to come to our the product which we are producing.
Got it. So one last question. Sorry, I've taken. You've been kind enough to answer one last question with regards to anti-dumping in the region. Where does Oman stand with regards to anti-dumping? And is it fully applied, partly applied? Any upside there, any downside there? I'm just trying to. The last question is more all-rounded with regards to as the key management. Where do you see? What are the sort of positives that you see over the next 12 to 18 months for the company, or any further setbacks that you see?
Okay. See, as far as your first part of the question on the anti-dumping in Oman, see, they implemented it for a very brief period, just for a couple of weeks or maybe a maximum of 3 to 4 weeks. That's it. After that, they withdrew the thing. But what they did was, at least to some extent, I mean, they protected the local manufacturers of influx of other materials coming in from across the border. So they said anything coming in by sea, the anti-dumping was removed. Anything coming by road, because anti-dumping was removed in UAE. So by road, if anything comes in of Indian or Chinese origin, still that anti-dumping is still applicable. So that is why there is no influx of any big material from the border, from the land border. So to that extent, we were at least to some extent we were protected in that sense. But still, we are making representations with the ministry here to see that whether they can still consider implementing or re-implementing it. So I mean, we will have to wait and see. We are not. We just have to keep. We have kept our finger crossed, and then we will wait for it. And coming to your part of the question on the next 12 to 18 months, we are very cautiously optimistic, saying that as we discussed, about 80-85% of the capacity utilization, if we are able to achieve, and then tweak our realizations a bit, and then keep our receivables under control. I'm sure, though we may not make super profits, but at least we will be above water, and then to take up the challenges once everything improves.
Do you realistically see realization prices improving, if or being stable is the best case scenario?
No, it should. See, I mean, I don't have an answer for it right away, but we will hope that it is going to stabilize for some time, and after that it will start moving up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh. Wish you all the best.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other queries or questions from anybody else? We'll wait for a couple of minutes, and then if there are no further questions or something, maybe we can wind up the meeting.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, Bishan.
Yeah. Okay. In absence of anyone else, I'll just add a couple of more queries. With regards to the investment book, historically, at least, we used to see a stable stable investment income from the company. Yeah. And now one would only assume that once these maturities take place over the next, let's say, 6 to 9 months, those proceeds would be redeployed towards, let's say, a standard fixed income product.
Yeah.
Right. What sort of investment income are you seeing from this redeployment? Any ballpark number? Because that would pretty much be straight up cash, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. So, I mean, we have not still what do you call clearly still demarcated how to go about it. Maybe because we are just waiting for it to come in, or maybe by the end of the year, once we know that the investment maturities are in sight, at that time we will take a call. We have many options in front of us. Like, we have a debt also, which is also carrying quite a huge interest. So, I mean, it is the same whether you invest in a fixed income or you repay a loan and then save on those interest. Maybe saving the interest cost may be better than even today in today's investment fixed investment income scenario. So we will take a call closer to time, Vishen.
Sure. And sorry, last question I forgot earlier is, we've seen over the last couple of years, and last year was at least you had this unrealized loss. So we've seen the company pay approximately around 90% payout ratio for dividend. Now, I do understand that you have this maturity and you said either fixed income or repay debt. But in terms of organically the cash flow that the company generates, in the absence of any capex, at least for the short to medium term, initially the company had clear capex plans. It made perfect sense with the growing Saudi market and anti-dumping in place. But now, in the absence of any short-term capex plans and the sort of relatively stable operations, do we see a closer to, let's say, 80 to 90% payout ratio, or would the company like to preserve cash? I mean, just your thoughts. I understand it's a board decision.
I
But
know.
any
I
sort
know.
of insights?
I doubt if I am able to throw any what do you call insights into that. Okay, because it's as you rightly said, it's a board decision and it's a board's prerogative to see how to strategically move on the dividend front. So, I mean, at least it should, according to me, it should not be lower than what it was last year, because last year was abnormality. So we will have to wait and see how the board is going to take a call on this.
Sure. Noted. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have one more gentleman who has raised his hand.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. I have
Good
a small question. Could you please explain if you are facing any challenges in pricing from competitors?
See, challenges in the pricing from competitors is always there. Okay, competitors means, see, there are competitors from all over the world. So that was the major thing. For example, from Saudi, there is a huge competition from the local manufacturers there. Okay, and similarly, there has been a lot of low price tiles coming in from India. So those kind of challenges are always there. And then I'm sure, I mean, as a local manufacturer, we will have the advantage of and being the what do you call the largest manufacturer here, we will have the advantage to leverage all those challenges. I mean, the situation, and then we will see how to handle it. I mean, if you have any specific further question, I mean, I'll be too happy to answer you.
Nothing, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, gentlemen. See, we assume that there is no more questions, and then maybe thank you everyone for attending this session. And then, okay, I think there is a hand raised by Mr. Amit. Yeah, Amit.
Yeah, Mr. Suresh. So
Yeah.
just wanted to ask one last question. Like you mentioned about large format tiles, and you mentioned about that to help improving realization. So
That's
how
right.
soon are you expect to achieve this specific
See,
realization level?
okay. See, on the large format tiles, in the given situation, what we had anticipated has not fallen in place in the way we wanted it. But having said that, for sure, of course, what realization we are obtaining for our other tiles, compared to that, the large format tiles are obtaining a much higher realization. So that we going forward will compensate a bit on whatever we are tweaking in terms of the realizations in certain markets, as I explained earlier, to reach our or to maintain our capacity levels. So there is going to be advantage from the large format products to offset some of the tweakings which we are doing in the other products.
Okay.
Hope
Thank
I
you,
have
sir.
answered your question. Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, any more questions, or we can call it a day? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and then having your questions. Very, very valuable. And then I'm sure the investing committee has been a little more informative than what it was earlier with this discussions. Thank you so much. And then we wind up the meeting now. Thank you.